It was Saturday, the 6th of February 2021, and Lamper was in a very bad mood.
"No, I ain't,"
he said. But he was. It had started in the morning because his Dr. Martens didn't have steel toe caps, and never would, for the rest of eternity. And in the afternoon he had wanted to get some knuckle going.
"Come on then, who wants some?"
But no one else in Hornet Heaven had wanted any. Now he'd heard that Watford had only drawn 0-0 with Coventry City. Things were going from bad to worse. Lamper's friends were in the atrium getting programmes.
"Hi, Lamper,"
said Derek Carston.
"Fancy coming along to an old game, old thing?"
said Henry Grover. Lamper growled at them.
"I've got the amp,"
he said. Of course, Lamper had had the hump before, and he'd been in plenty of paddies, but today was different. He asked Derek where Watford were in the table after the Coventry game, and when Derek said,
"Still fifth,"
Lamper did something he shouldn't have done. "Good Lord," said Henry. "What on earth is Lamper doing?" Lamper was standing in the middle of the atrium. He had pulled his trousers down around his ankles, which was really strange. "I think he's doing an endine," said Bill Mainwood.
"A what?"
asked Henry. "An endine. Barry Endine pulled his shorts down when we were losing at Oxford in 1971.
"Why on earth did he do that?"
"He was upset that we were going out of the FA Cup," said Bill. "Ah, I see," said Henry. "Although, really—" Lamper saw that everybody in the atrium was staring at him. He was wishing he hadn't pulled his trousers down. He told everyone,
"I had to do it."
Nobody said anything. They just stared. He said,
"I had to, 'cause we ain't going to get promoted at this rate."
He still had his trousers round his ankles. He was starting to feel a bit silly, so he shouted,
"The head coach has got to go. Cisco out! Cisco out!"
"Oh dear, now he's done an Atwell," said Bill Mainwood quietly. "Indeed he has, old thing," said Henry Grover sadly. "He was feeling under pressure, and he's made a ridiculous judgment." After Lamper had pulled his trousers back up, he went to the bottom of Occupation Road to be away from everyone else. But Bill Mainwood came and found him. "I thought I'd see how you're feeling," said Bill. Lamper didn't say anything. He just pouted. "Ah, you're doing a forestieri there," said Bill. Lamper kicked a garden fence and said,
"No, I ain't."
"Now you're doing a ramage," said Bill.
"Shut up," said Lamper. "Stop telling me who I'm behaving like."
"Well, sometimes it's useful," said Bill.
"It's not useful, it's bleeding annoying,"
said Lamper. "Sometimes it's useful to look at our own behaviour as if it belongs to someone else, because it frees us of our own overwhelming feelings and lends us a bit of perspective." Lamper wasn't ready to think about this, and he called Bill a very bad word that begins with the letter C. he did a marlon. Over the next few weeks, Lamper refused to go to any Watford matches. He did a Mike Williamson. He had mixed feelings. When Watford started winning and winning and winning, he found that a bit of him was hoping Watford would lose, to prove that he'd been right about wanting Cisco out, which meant he didn't enjoy Watford's success as much as he could have done. Quite quickly, he wished he hadn't said what he'd said about Cisco. So he had a think. And he thought that if he'd done an ending, a forestieri and a ramage, maybe there were good things that other people had done that he could do too. And thinking like that gave him an idea. In April, Bill Mainwood was in the atrium. Watford had won 1-0 at Norwich, and Bill was getting the Hornet Heaven promotion pond ready in time for the game against Millwall, just in case. The Hornet Heaven promotion pond hadn't been used for 6 years. Suddenly Bill heard people clapping. He looked up and saw Lamper standing in the middle of the atrium. Lamper was holding up a long, thin placard and showing it to everyone. On the placard were 2 words: "I'm sorry." "Ah," said Bill. "Lamper's doing a GT." On the Saturday, Lamper went to the home game against Millwall to see if Watford could win the game and win promotion to the Premier League. He went with his friends, Bill, Derek and Henry. "Welcome back," said Henry. "I'm glad the previous unpleasantness has been put aside and you're back with us again, old sausage." "I'm doing a Tommy Smith," said Lamper. And everyone smiled. Lamper was pleased to be back with his friends now that he'd apologised. Even better, though, he knew that if Watford won, he wouldn't just be pleased. He'd be ecstatic. At the end of the game, Watford were winning, and when the final whistle blew, Watford were back in the Premier League. Lamper felt fit to burst with happiness. Bill, Derek and Henry felt the same. They all ran out of the stadium. In the middle of the atrium, they stopped. They all pulled their trousers down. But they weren't doing an ending. They pulled their trousers all the way off and jumped into the Hornet Heaven promotion pond. "You horns!" cried Bill. "You horns!" cried Henry. "You horns!" cried Derek. "You horns!" cried Lamper, and they all splashed happily in the pond and sang, "We are going up," we said, "we are going up. We are going up," we said, "we are going up. We are going up," we said, "we are going up. We are." The end. We Are Going Up was written and produced by Olly, Wicken. It was read by Colin, Mace. For more information on the Hornet Heaven stories, please visit hornetheaven.com.